Finance Committee meeting to order. The first item we have is wishing Kathy Patton a happy birthday. Today's her birthday. She put a lot of work in, and she's working on her birthday, so we appreciate that. So happy 29th birthday. So the first item we have is assignment for request for council actions. We have several for finance. We have 2247 budget amendments, 2248 advance request, 2249 amend ordinance 18620 pertaining to CARES Act funds, 2250 amend code 13301 association memberships fire department, 2251 change of vendor from Noche Enterprises to Trumbull Industries Water, 2252 expenditure over 25,000 Jet A fuel, 2253 agreement with Montville Township for fire services 2021 to 2024, 2254 agreement with Medina Township for fire services 2021 through 2024. 2255 state bid purchase for 2020 Dodge Journey Building Department, and 2256 state bid purchase 2021 Ford Explorer Police Department, and 2057 waive December 2020 utility bill penalties. Second item is 2247 budget amendments. We have 20056 check number 35540 from Lafayette Township. Who's this for, Keith?
Ed, do you want to talk about this? You want me to?
Yeah, sure, I'll take it. This is a budget amendment for appropriating the money from the Lafayette Township police contract revenue into our account.
$93,378.65. All right, any questions?
Move to approve.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 2020-057, check number 35539 from Lafayette Township. Chief?
Thank you, Mr. President. This is some money that Lafayette Township found. It was money that was due to us in 2019. They had an accounting error and discovered it, and this is them making good on that.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
That should help us out a little bit. Any questions?
Mr. President, I have one clarification on that prior budget amendment. It looks like it's $93,378.65. That's one line that goes into vehicles, and then another line for $93,378.64 to go into the overtime line.
Okay. Understood. Going back to 057, is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 2020-058 carry forward reductions from our 10-7 budget hearing.
Pretty self-explanatory.
Yes, there's several budget reductions that we have for that meeting. Any questions? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 2020-062 various items for the end of the year. Keith?
Yep, this is just year-end, covering our expenditures.
All right, for various funds, okay. Any questions? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. In 2020-060, another various items for the year-end reconciliation. Any questions?
Most of this one is CARES funds. We have a lot of adjustments to get that right.
Okay.
Move to approve.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 2248 advance requests.
These are advances we're rolling over and creating to cover shortfalls in funds.
Questions? Mr. President. Mr. Rose?
Yeah, thank you. Keith, it says general fund to be reimbursed once the funds are able to cover the shortfall. What do you mean by that?
Well, if we have shortfalls in a fund, we have to cover it out of general. And then once that fund has the money, we repay the general fund.
Okay, where are those funds going to be coming from to fill them up? Are these the grants or?
Well, it's usually grants, but a couple of these things are, like we've got the agency fund. Sometimes we have expenditures there that we have to make that are going to be reimbursed. We have to run it through the agency fund, so it operates like a grant. And that's what most of these are with developer deposits, some trained endowment, all the same type of thing.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 2249, amending ordinance 19620 relative to the CARES Act funds. Keith?
Yep, these are amendments to the ordinance that we did on the CARES Act a few weeks ago. Just changes as we've gotten bills and gotten everything closed out.
And how's it going with the spending of the money and the time frame we need to spend it in? Are the projects that, the larger projects, I guess, I think they're moving along. I know the rotunda's moving along well. How about the HVAC system?
Well, the rule on that is the work has to be done, so I guess you know better than me on that. How's that going? Dan. He's asking about the heating cooling upgrade. Yes, sir.
John, yes, we're in the process of replacing the boilers now. The unit is going to be leaving the factory around the 20th of December. It's a 2-day trip, so the goal is to have it installed between, right after Christmas, so like the 26th or 27th.
Well, that's right after Christmas.
Moving
Okay.
forward.
It's good. Any questions on that?
Move to approve with the emergency clause.
Second, including the emergency clause.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 2250, amend code section 13301, association memberships for the fire department. Chief?
Thank you. This is for Chuck Boland. He's one of the city mechanics who specializes in our fire apparatus. Historically, this membership's always been included in their annual training conference, but it got canceled this year because of COVID, so they're asking it a separate membership just to get their updates and newsletters and that.
Question?
Move to approve.
Second.
Danny? Okay, thank you. Any further questions?
I said second.
Gotcha. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. 2251, change of water for the service, change of vendor for the service and water department. Mr. Picoli?
Thank you, Mr. President. So initially, we had a PO through Board of Control approved through Noche Enterprises for $15,000, and this is for a replacement in inserted T-valve on Sturbridge and Wadsworth Roads. So the long and short of it is the city was better served with Trumbull Industries, a better product, better services, and that cost was $16,800. So it exceeded the Board of Control limit. With that being said, we chose to go with insert a valve, a 12-inch, to replace this 8-inch valve on our main line. And the reason we're using an insert a valve is the disrupted folks will be a handful on Sturbridge versus that whole triangle, which incorporates all of Brandywine, Tide Drive, Willow Bend, the Goldcrest, Alexandria, Sugar House, that entire area. So to limit the amount of folks that were being disrupted, we went with inserted valve with Trumbull Industries. So I appreciate the consideration.
Thank you. Any questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Nino. 2252, expenditure for $25,000 Jet A fuel. Keith?
Thank you, Mr. President. We request this blanket every year for the Jet A that we sell at the airport. We assume this will be enough, but it'll depend on how much we sell and what prices are. If we need more, we'll come back and let you know.
All right, thank you. Any questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 2253 agreement with Montville Township for the fire services for years 2021 through 2024. Chief?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to address this and 2254 from Medina Township at the same time. We're working diligently getting these contracts in place. Montville is pretty much ready to go. Medina Township still has some items they want to discuss with us, so we're working diligently to get their questions to them. And once we get the law department's approval, we'll finalize the contracts. I believe you're probably going to see an extension request for 30 to 90 days while we work through this so that we're covered going into the new year.
Well, this is the last council meeting, so the request will come at our first council meeting in 2021?
Well, we're hoping, yeah.
We'll bring it
So
back
you're
to
here for discussion items only, and then we'll hold on to these two items and keep them open until the contracts are completed?
Correct.
Okay.
we just want to
Anybody have any
count,
questions about the contracts?
John, if I could.
Yes, Mayor.
So we've been working for months on these, and we're having some issues with Medina Township in particular of this is what we'd like to see. We put it together, then we want to add something else, want to add something else. So I reached out to Chuck Johnson this afternoon. He sent me a couple other changes. I told him some of those were acceptable, some were not, and we're going to, in the continuation of services agreement, come with a hard deadline of this is it and make up your mind by this date. Otherwise, the city and Montville will continue the fire services with or without Medina Township. We're hoping it doesn't get to that. I think the residents appreciate and want the Medina services, but some of their demands are just not acceptable to us. My plan is, John, to bring it back to council either in January or early February, however long we give them, and have an agreement that the law director has already approved and that either Montville or Montville and Medina Township have approved, and then we will be asking council to pass it retroactive to January 1st, 2021.
Thank you. And it is my understanding that the Medina Township portion at least went to the ballot regarding an increase in the fire services or safety services levy, and it failed to go to more of a full-time, and they want to stick with what they have, is my understanding. Is that correct?
Yes, both townships have asked us to stay with an as-is staffing at this point. We are still talking with LST and Medina Hospital as far as seeing if we could collaborate on a midnight to 8 a.m. staffing to cover the third shift, at least Monday through Friday on a trial period. But there are still some things that are being discussed and worked out, with the clinic. So we're not quite ready. We thought before we were ready to implement that, and then they ran into some snags at the clinic and asked us to hold off. And I'm meeting with the hospital representative tomorrow, and we're hoping again early next year to give that a trial run for say 30 days, 60 days, and see how that works.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? All right, so let's move on to 2255, state bid purchase for a 2020 Dodge Journey for the building department. Mr. Gladish.
This is a vehicle purchased to replace a 2010 Ford Escape with a new 2020 Dodge Journey, and this is for the city zoning inspector. And it's not a state bid, it was a government fleet discount. So what I did was I used a template that had state bid in it. That was incorrect. It's a government fleet discount.
Okay, I see the savings of $5,250.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 2256, state bid purchase for a 2021 Ford Explorer for the police department. Chief Kenny?
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a state bid purchase for a 2021 Ford Explorer for one of our frontline vehicles. This will be the third one for the year. You guys just authorized 2, and that's what we typically like to purchase is 3 per year to keep within the rotation. However, due to the 10% budget cuts for 2021, we're curtailing some of our spending in 2020. However, the CARES Act funding has put us in a different position now to where we can afford this third frontline cruiser and hopefully some cruisers for 2021 as well.
Okay, any questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Then we got the last one as an addition 12/20/257. It's a waiver of the December 2020 utility bill penalty. Mr. Durham, I know that there's a problem with the mail process, too many Santa Claus letters, I guess.
Apparently, the post office has been very slow. We've had a lot of people calling that haven't gotten their bills, and when we send out the bills, we send one to ourselves, and it was very late coming back to us. So I'm just asking that we waive the penalties completely for the month of December.
I understand that I didn't receive my bills yet because I get them in the mail, and I don't know who else hasn't received any of their bills. But I guess the question is, what if they don't deliver it in December? Then what happens?
Well, that'll be more complicated. We're going to have the same issue with shutoffs, but shutoffs is a smaller number, and we've been talking it over in the office. I think that within my office, we can call most people on the shutoff list, and then the people that we don't have numbers for, that the number's no good, we can probably do some kind of door tag or something for once we get down to a small enough number to manage. But if this continues, it's going to be a real problem, and I don't know.
So did you have a conversation with the mail department? Did they figure out what happened to them yet, or is it just slow mail?
Our conversations, John, as you know from the ward meetings we've had, where Mr. Shields had a cluster mailbox knocked down that was down for probably 6 to 8 months with no communication whatsoever from the post office, that I ended up having to go to our federal legislators to get to somebody who oversees our post office to try to get some answers from them. I just had a text from a resident this past late Saturday evening that the mailbox was so full behind the North Court location that people could physically open the door and reach in and grab handfuls of mail out. So I sent that Saturday evening, immediately thereafter, to the postmaster and their customer service supervisor, and I got a hold of the chief and lieutenant at the police department to see if we had a emergency number to call somebody out to the post office. Both of my emails have yet to be responded to, and Chief, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but last I heard, we got no response from the phone call as well.
That's correct, Mayor.
So what we did then, in a proactive manner by the chief, was we sent a police officer to remove the mail at risk, put it in another box, and move it to a post box that was not as full at another location in the city. But the service from the post office that we're seeing and the response from them on any issues that we've had is going from bad to worse. So that's a long answer, John, to say they are not responsive.
Oh, yeah, well, if we didn't receive the letters yet and they get mailed out of Akron, I believe, I mean, the mail's not even getting to Medina.
Well, we have had some communication here this morning that people did begin to receive their mail, at least some of them. At City Hall, let me give you another example. City Hall, we've not received mail on Friday from the post carrier. we have a post office box and we have a post carrier. No mail at all on Friday. We're closed on Saturday, and no mail at all today. They're just not bringing it. Period. So my office, Keith's office, we've been receiving phone calls. We put it in the newspaper. We put it on the website. We put it on Facebook, and we're getting a lot of response from the community, and then directing them how they can go online, print their own bill if they want it. They can pay it electronically. They can call in with the credit card, or they can physically come in, and we can look it up for them and have them pay it. And we've had just in the last, I think we started on that Friday, Keith, is when this all blew up. We started on it on Friday, and we've had a great response since then. But I can't say what's going on with the post office because nobody seems to know.
All right, I guess we could do the best we can and hopefully inform people of what's going on so that they understand what they can do, and hopefully the post office will straighten themselves out next year. Any other questions?
Move to approve with the emergency clause.
Second, including the emergency clause.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Is there anything else to come before finance before we entertain a motion to recess into executive session? All right, Jim.
Okay, I'll go ahead at 6:22 p.m. I'm going to make a motion that we go into executive session for purposes of meeting with the law director of the city concerning disputes involving the city that are subject to pending or imminent court action.
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
To include the law director and the mayor.
You're on mute.
Whoops. Coin.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
All right. Hazeltine.
Yes.
Effinger.
Yes.
Ham.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
The motion passes 6-7-0.
We'll be recessing into an executive session to discuss the imminent litigation. We'll be coming out of executive session back into finance. We'll be taking no action of any items discussed in the executive session, and we'll be adjourning from the finance meeting at that time, getting ready for the council meeting. We are now in recess, so I believe everybody has to go to a different